How's it going, everybody? My name's Avid, and today is no ordinary day. No, in fact, today we are going to build an adventure together. And also, today is the very first episode of Avid Adventures where, you guessed it, we make adventure maps. And what a beautiful setting for our very first adventure together. This meadow that is nestled in between these snow-capped peaks. So if you read the title of the video, this town is a cursed village where it's this beautiful Swiss mountain town during the day and an evil, cursed, and zombie-filled town at night. The focus of this episode is going to be building out the majority of the village, putting together all of the roads, and then turning the town into its evil version at night. There's going to be building. There will be time lapses. There will be command blocks. Everything that you can imagine in an episode, we are gonna pack it in here. I am so excited to get started. So I'm gonna clear out these trees and then we're gonna start this episode. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is figure out where the town center is going to be and how the road is going to come into it. So I'm thinking town center can actually be right in this little depression area. I just have to do a little more terraforming to kind of flatten it out. And then we're going to have homes encircle the town center. And then maybe we'll have a little elevated kind of town area over here, and then a couple of buildings to the left, and then Mayor's Mansion front and center. So let's just cut out a little bit of this hill and see where we get. So it may not look like much yet, but this is going to be the basic outline for downtown Vilethorn, and players are going to enter through an archway that will not look like a Twizzler or Red Vine. I know some people in my audience would have a very strong opinion about that, but the archway here is going to have this just really nice aesthetic to it. Players are then going to be surrounded by buildings in the town, and the buildings themselves during the day are going to look very clean and very pretty, and I'm starting to play with a color palette. I'm not sold on this. This is looking a little bit kind of alien to me, but I do want to play with different dark tones like this dark nether brick. I think that looks really, really good. So we're going to play around with that, and remember that at nighttime then these buildings are going to decay and all of the villagers are going to turn into zombies. So this town is cursed and we want to make sure that there is some kind of evil curse upon it. And so I've gone ahead and outlined the basic outline of the mansion with this structure block to get an idea of the size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a daylight sensor to check for when it's nighttime, and then I'm going to summon the mansion in with this structure block here. So that's going to be how I take care of getting the mansion in, and I'm going to use the same technique for all of these buildings here. They're all going to be coded into structure blocks, and there's going to be 2 versions of each of the buildings. So I might be biting off a little more than I can chew, but I always tend to do that. So I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to take it step by step, and we're going to get there. So I need to start ironing out these buildings first. So I will be back when I have 1 or 2 of them done, and I like how they look. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, are you ready for it? Because I think this build turned out great. Honestly, I took a lot of inspiration from BOO, who is a fantastic YouTuber, and he basically had this palette, and I started to expand on it. He had a much larger build, and I kind of took the minified version of it, and I am so happy with how it turned out. These little shutters here are absolutely adorable, where you use signs on trap doors, these vertical trap doors. Think it looks fantastic. So the next thing that I need to do is do the interior, obviously, and then we are going to get it into a structure block. We're going to load it in with that structure block, and then I'm going to make the decayed version of this building. And I'll show you how we're going to transition between those 2 versions. So that's the next thing we're going to do. I will be back in a moment once I have the interior done, and then we'll start working on the decayed version of that building. Let's do it. In case you're curious how to do those little shutters, because I love little details like that, you're going to put a couple blocks in the middle here first, covering up your windows, and then you place down your trap doors like so. And you want to make sure that they are flipped upwards. So we're going to do on both sides. And then what you do is you remove those supporting blocks, and then you just throw the signs right on like that. And you get these really beautiful looking shutters that honestly, I didn't even know you could do in Minecraft. I love it. So we have completed the interior of this beautiful house here. We have a nice table with flowers and an end table here and a little nook behind the stairs where people can store things. And then as we head up the stairs here, I built out a seating area where you could maybe, sit, relax, and read a book. And then we have the bedroom where right now I just have room for a single bed and a nice little balcony overlooking the staircase. And then if we head up the ladder here, we have the attic where we're going to hide some clues and maybe some loot in these chests for our players to find. Also, I like to put lore in all of my quests, so we're going to put a lore book right there. Now, that's not the only thing that I have done here. I have been extremely busy. That's the wrong wood type. I have been extremely busy working on this town. And as you can tell, I have almost all of the houses, at least on the outside, completed. Need to get that roof going. And then a couple of the roofs here I still need to finish up, but I have the basic structure of them. Then the next thing that I've been working on is framing the town with this beautiful cliffside. So I do definitely need to blend this with the scenery a little bit more, but I'm starting to work on texturing this cliffside here to make it more natural looking, maybe with some granite, and I could try to move some andesite in there. And then what I want to do is put our mansion somewhere nestled in this cliffside area. And just, this town is turning out so great. I love it. I think this might actually be one of the most beautiful places I have ever built in Minecraft. And the scenery as well. Like, there's a waterfall over there. And I didn't even do that. That was just there. So, guys, I'm so excited with how this is turning out. I know we're going to get to the command block pieces first, but I just love the building aspect of this. Just wait till what we do with this town and make it really come to life. So we're going to get there, just a few more things, and I'll be right back. We have made so much progress. In fact, look at our town center. We've totally transformed the area. We've added these elevated walkway sections with bush walls here, which I think just looks absolutely gorgeous. And then we even have another tier. Excuse me, what are you doing in my town? We even have another walkway up here that wraps around the backside of the town and just kind of frames the whole town and gives it a reason for why we've contained it to, the center part of this valley. So look at this thing from the top. We're starting to add that shrubbery, that greenery, and I really want to add a lot of green elements to it because if we have, all of this deep slate and darkness, it's just not going to look as pretty as I want it to. So we're starting to really make some progress, and I'm absolutely in love with how the walkways and the staircases are turning out. Let me know what you guys think and how you would want to lighten up some of the walkways. Maybe I could add some variety like andesite or cobblestone. And then if you're curious, here's how it looks on a map. It's really coming together. And what I'm thinking is our mansion is going to be in this central section here, and then we're going to have these towers, these evil towers that are casting a spell over the town. And we'll add some really interesting particle effects, and we'll just kind of give a reason for why and how the town is cursed. So let's keep moving on this. I am so excited with the progress, guys. Look at this place. It's beautiful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a couple of days, believe it or not, and our town doesn't look too different on the outside, but I have completed the interiors for all of these houses, which means now it's time to clone them into structure blocks and blow them up and turn them into their evil versions. I am a little nervous that I'm going to destroy more than the houses themselves. But I think we're going to be okay. And just in case, I did make a backup of this world. So I just want to show you really quickly another interior here because we have our town square that's starting to shape up. And I'm putting on these little canopies where there are going to be people selling items and goods during the day. Of course, at night, they are all going to turn into zombies. But during the day, we have this beautiful little bar in here, and we're going to have somebody standing behind the counter to exchange currencies. We have currencies in this world, just to let you know, that can be transferred to bartenders, and they'll give you other currencies from other lands. Then you come upstairs here, and we have a little bit of some bedroom situation. Maybe, people can rent the room for the night. I'm just trying to come up with a story for each of these houses and why they exist, because when you do that, it tends to make better builds. I also really love how this shop is turning out. It's going to be a clothing store, and there will actually be traders in here where you can buy clothing. And up in the top area here is we have a bedroom, but then if you follow this up, this is where they keep all the spools of thread, and you can just see it kind of spilling out, and they have looms up here to make all of their clothing. I just think adding those little details make a place feel alive. Okay, people, it is time. We are going to blow up our village that we just spent the last 30 hours building with this one little snowball. All I have to do is hit this target and everything that we just made is going to go up in flames. So here we go. What have we done? Oh no. I mean, I thought it was gonna blow up a little bit of these houses, but we have seriously caused significant destruction. I mean, our first house doesn't even have a roof anymore. Well, at least we have some surviving structures here. The plan is we are going to convert all of these houses now into their evil equivalent. Remember that we saved all of the good equivalents down below in structure blocks. How did the floor get blown up? Whatever. We saved all of the good versions of these houses in structure blocks so we can bring them all back. What I'm going to do is hop into a time lapse and convert all of these houses into their evil equivalent. This is going to be awesome. Here we go. I hope you enjoyed that time lapse as much as I enjoyed making it. I love how these buildings turned out. They are so creepy and sinister. and I think when this town is glowing from all of these different nether blocks at night, I think it's going to look amazing and spooky and terrifying. So yeah, basically what I did, if you saw it in the time lapse, is I converted over all of the different blocks from, I would call that like a Swiss inspired color palette to nether blocks. And I really tried to stay true to what would the nether block equivalent be of each block that was in the build. And I think I did a pretty good job. Now, I definitely, these builds look a lot better at night, and we're going to see that in a moment, so stick around for that. But first, I just want to show you guys what the commands look like down below, because this would not be an Avid video if I didn't go over command blocks. After all, that is what I do best. So let's go down below to the command room and take a quick look at how this town is going to turn from the beautiful Swiss mountain town to this evil, cursed village. All right, so we are 10 blocks beneath our beautiful town up above, and we have a whole bunch of command blocks here and structure blocks. So I'm gonna go through a little bit of what makes the magic happen up above. So you've probably noticed that we have these columns of structure blocks. And if you're counting, you'll also notice that there are the same number of these columns as houses that we have up above. So as you can guess, these are the structure blocks that allow us to turn the houses into their good version or the red ones are the evil version of the houses. And so if I wanted to turn all of the houses in our city to the good version, I would just change all of the light blue wool to red stone blocks in this lower area. And that would turn on all of the good structure blocks, and they would clone upstairs the good version of the house. And the same thing goes for the evil version. So that's how I've managed that effect. Now, we also have a couple of functions over here. When it becomes nighttime, and the way that we detect that is with a daylight sensor somewhere up there. And when it becomes nighttime, we are going to turn all of the houses into their evil version by changing out the red wool blocks. So that's pretty straightforward, set the evil buildings. We are then going to change out some parts of the city. So we have deep slate, polished deep slate specifically in the ground, in the pathways of our city. And we're going to turn those over into crimson wood, which is going to look really creepy and spooky. And I think it's going to look amazing. Then we also need to kill a bunch of items because the clone process with structure blocks isn't necessarily clean, and it sometimes leaves behind a lot of junk. So that's what we're going to do there. Then we're going to give a message to the players that says the curse of Vilethorn is upon us. And we're going to play the Wither Death sound, which is one of my favorite creepy sounds. And we're also going to play the Crimson Forest soundtrack. The last thing we're going to do is start the particle generator. And that is over here. And it's just a repeating command block that spawns in crimson spores in the center of town. So we get that really creepy kind of effect, that ambiance that adds to the atmosphere of the whole area. Now, I'm not going to go through the day setting because that's basically everything but in reverse. But essentially, the day is going to turn all the houses over into their good version, and it's also going to turn the roads back to normal, and it's going to look like our beautiful Swiss village that we had before. So let's get on upstairs and see this magic happen. I'm so excited to show you guys. It is so cool. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in Minecraft. Let's do it. All right, I have one last surprise for you guys. It is the Curse of Vilethorn taking hold as the sun sets behind the mountain range. I'm so excited to see this. And before we have that, I just want to let you know that I spent a ton of time making this video. And if you liked it, I would absolutely appreciate if you left a like, or if you commented, or you subscribed, because it tells YouTube that you really want to see more of this content, and it shows it off to more people. I absolutely had so much fun doing this, so I can't wait to see where it goes. And there is the transformation, the wither sound, and eventually we're going to hear the trickling in of the Crimson Forest music soundtrack, which I think is perfect. The players are going to get chills when they come here. The next episode, we are going to build out the mansion right below me, where there will be a puzzle to lead players to the catacombs, which are going to be the next level of this dungeon. I might actually finish off the Twizzler Arch that is at the entrance of this town. I'll definitely put in more landscaping and the marketplace and do all those pieces. Guys, honestly, I cannot wait to continue this series. If you liked it, please let me know down in the comments, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye!